In the past year alone, we've seen AI take a prominent role in the content creation space with text, images, but never before video, until now. Pika.Art is a platform that claims to be able to take any text prompt, similar to the way that you would feed a text prompt into chat-gpt, and create a video from it. So today, we're going to play around with this tool, see if it's really what it lives up to, and see how this could potentially impact the content creation space. The ability to create any type of video that you could possibly imagine simply by having the right prompt engineering fed into the right platform. Now, when I had the opportunity to get access to the Pika.Art platform early, I jumped on the opportunity. I want to see how this tool at its current stage can actually impact the world of content creation. Am I able to create realistic looking videos? And even if it's not, how does the artistic style of these videos impact artists around the world today? Well, the ability to create videos from simple AI text prompts is something that is going to change the world forever. So I thought, let's jump in on it. Now, before we jump into actually creating the videos here, I wanted to just go through the Pika.Art examples of what you could actually create from these prompts. And there's a couple here to start with. We have this one which says, in a stunning display of athleticism. Oh, I'm not even going to read that whole thing, that's really long. But we essentially get a full-on video from what looks like a person skiing down a hill. It's got the mountains in the background, it's got the clouds, it's got the trees, and of course it's got the snow. You can see it flying at the camera. But this video is completely AI generated. Going to the next one here, we have something about aliens. It seems like clouds, and now this next one here looks like it's something straight out of Ant-Man Quantumania. Imagine people being able to type in something into a generator and get a video out. This case, it looks like something that would just come right out of the quantum realm. And that kind of scares me, because think about all the thousands of hours of work that are put into creating those CGI landscapes and creating those realistic looking atmospheres. And think about all the ones that, like this, don't look realistic at all. They look out of this world, crazy, creative, something you would never see before. But now, AI has the potential to actually replace that, or at least supplement the time it would take to create something of that scale. Now this one looks like it could be straight out of a Japanese anime. Looking at this at first glance, there would be no feasible way to tell if it was actually created by an AI or not. I mean, looking at this right now, I would think that yes, somebody took the time to hand draw this animation. But in reality, the answer is no. It's simply been created by an AI with that simple text prompt at the bottom there. How are we going to be able to tell the difference between a real video and an AI generated video? This, what appears to be war footage, was completely generated by AI. And if it wasn't for the 2D puff of smoke that happens at the beginning, you might not be able to tell at first glance, or at least the majority of the population wouldn't, that this was a completely AI generated video. Not a single frame of this image was created from a camera, it was all created by AI. Pika AI is able to create so many videos simply from text prompts. And while they may not all be perfect, they're certainly a step in the direction of text to video, especially from an AI. If you had to flip a coin and say, was this a show that was on Disney Junior or was it generated by an AI? What would you say? Because there's nothing that inherently gives away the fact that this is an AI generated image. It simply looks like it was a, well, Disney Junior show. Well, I've gone and devised a couple of prompts that I think are quite detailed, and while we may not get the perfect result, we'll at least get something interesting visually. Wow, that actually looks really good. It looks to be flying across a planet with clouds, or at least a gas giant. That looks pretty sick. What's interesting about this is it kind of reminds me of the older type video game cinematics that you would see where, the graphics weren't the best, but it did a good job of showing what you needed to see. My question is, how would this sort of thing impact something like indie development, specifically indie video game development? Now, for something like a video game where you can actually hire CGI or animators to actually create animations for your game, you can actually use AI for that. Typically, you would be using low budget things, and if you have cinematics in your game at all, they wouldn't be the best quality, or they would look something like this. Now, imagine the ability for a single solo developer to be able to create full-on cinematics that look similar to this, maybe being 30 seconds long, 45 seconds long, all from typing in something into a tool like this. It certainly opens up the realm of possibilities for what is possible with this technology, but as always, the moral and ethical obligations to actually pay real humans to do jobs like this is still a question that's up for debate. Now for this next one, I'm gonna put your eyes to the test a little bit. I'm gonna take a screenshot of the video that I just generated using Pika.Art and put it side by side with a screen cap I took from a real episode of Love, Death, and Robots. And I want you to be able to tell me which of these is an image that I created in just about a minute here using Pika.Art, and which one is a real life image from Love, Death, and Robots that was created by a whole team of animators. Okay, so we have two images here. Is it this one on the left, or is it this one on the right? Which of these images was generated by Pika.Art in about a minute, and which one was actually animated by a full developed team of animators? This is the full video for that image here that I generated in just about a minute using the prompt you can see down below, and it genuinely looks like something that would come straight out of Love, Death, and Robots. This thing is absolutely nuts, and I can't believe that we're generating things at this level of quality from a simple text prompt, even if it is using material borrowed from other sources. But again, the ethical and legal considerations of the material used to actually train what is creating this video is something that's always going to be up for debate. Now this one here is a little bit wonky. I asked it for a monkey performing backflips while riding a motorcycle, and it seems like we have a very, very tiny looking motorcycle. I don't know if you can even call it that. And a monkey who's obviously, spazzing out in 7 different dimensions. He's clearly going through the void right now. This is something Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar going through the wormhole would have happened to him. Either way, it's safe to say that the technology is not all the way there yet, and sometimes it can be pretty comical what it actually creates. For this one here, it seems like we didn't get exactly the answer that we wanted. I said a cow should be eating the moon, which is made of cheese. So I was kind of hoping the cow would be like biting the ground or something like that. But instead we just have an image of a cow and some cheese. I imagine that's cheese floating on the moon. And then as it gets close to the cow sticks out its tongue. I have no idea what's behind it. It looks like kind of like a solar reflector or something from some sort of command module. At the very least, we do have our moon, we do have our cow, and we do have our cheese. Now for this one here, we have a building being built by robots. Now when I typed this in, I was envisioning in my mind something more like, the automated service robots where it's building a car and, just the arm. But this thing took it a little bit more literally. We actually have 2 robots and, one of them has some sort of bottle that it's controlling with telepathy around what appears to be a construction site. And in the background, we can see different power poles. So maybe they are, creating a new power generator station. Maybe they're building a new building. I don't actually know what's going on here. We just have 2 robots that just seem very fascinated over this floating bottle, if that's what that is. Now, while the technology is not all the way there yet, you can certainly start to see the potential. We have different images that can be used in cinematics by independent game development studios. We have images that can be used in actually animated shows. All of these have some sort of interesting twist on them, and all of them may not be the highest quality, but the potential is certainly there. For the image of the dystopian future and the rocket ship flying through space, either of those could be an image plucked straight from Love, Death, and Robots. And the ability to have that generated at scale by AI is definitely a scary possibility. With all that being said, the technology obviously still has a long way to go. But the fact that this technology and this level of animation and detail in video is here now begs the question. Is it legal, is it moral, is it ethical to replace human animators with a tool like this, obviously at a much more advanced rate? Obviously, the artistic community has been in major uproar over the fact that their jobs could potentially be replaced by AI, because you could argue that art created by an AI isn't true art. But with art being as subjective as it is, and these videos being subjective as they are, is it morally ethical to actually go and replace different components that would be done by humans with an AI model like this? Well, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. So you know what, with all that being said and done, we'll check in periodically. We'll create videos every now and again talking about how this technology has come along and how the actual text-to-video model generation actually has turned out. Is it impacting industries? Is it changing the world? Is it replacing jobs? All of that is still to be seen. But that's it for me, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, my name is Josh, and I'll see you in the next one.